Up next on The Way of the Renaissance Man, how Westpoint instills the Renaissance ethos and a circuitous route to becoming a precious metals dealer. Welcome to The Way of the Renaissance Man podcast. This is a show about ideas, personal empowerment, and celebrating the rational life. Our goal is to help each other discover the tools needed to better focus our minds, integrate our thoughts with actions, and live the lives we really want. I'm your host, Jim Woods. I'm here with a badass airborne officer, Westpoint graduate, money guy, and mutual fan of each other, Rich Checkan. It's Checkan.
Yes.
Checkan. Sorry.
Yes, no worries.
Not like the country, Chechnya.
Exactly.
Check-in.
Exactly.
Like checking in to a hotel. But you don't spell it that way.
Close.
Close enough,
instead
right?
of an I. So.
Okay, all right, yeah. So, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
We met yesterday, actually.
Yes.
We're here at Freedom Fest. We met yesterday and shared some interesting mutual interests and backgrounds and things like that. You were airborne. You were an officer in the Army. You were
infantry. Yep.
I'm
light
airborne
fighter.
Infantry. So we have that, and we were in about the same time. I think you got out like 91, 92?
93,
Okay.
Shortly after Gulf 1.
Okay, yeah. So I got out in 91 just as we were bombing Iraq. I was like, okay, maybe I was in jump school when we were doing that week.
Gotcha.
That was actually jump week that week. That had to happen.
Very nice.
And I said, well, maybe I picked the wrong time to be in the Army. Or the right time.
Offline, we'll talk about some of those interesting psyops and
there you
the
go.
bombings. It wasn't all bombs that were falling from the sky.
No, that's definitely
a lot of leaflets.
We
as
know
well.
that. Yeah. So talk to me about your background. You went to the academy, okay? And one of the points about this show is we want people to understand that there's a lot of different routes to being a Renaissance man. You don't have to be a badass soldier like you, and you don't have to be a money guy like me. You don't have to be a martial arts expert. You just have to be someone who wants to learn, wants to be well-rounded, and wants to have fun in life. So, tell me about the academy and how they kind of instilled that Renaissance man ethos in the cadets.
Yeah, talk about weird circuitous routes. First off, it was the only place I applied to. Freaked my parents out when I said I wanted to go there, and they didn't understand. I fell in love with the place romantically. I grew up in Jersey, went up to visit, and that's where I want to go. Really didn't give much thought I'm going to be serving in the Army and all this other stuff. It was just, I want to go there.
You just wanted to go to that college.
Absolutely.
But yeah, there's a little more to it than that, right?
And it can't be that hard because I grew up through Catholic school. So if I could deal with the nuns, I mean, what's Westpoint going to do to me?
The easy part.
So I went there and actually enjoyed it. It was kind of weird. They do bring out, I think, the best in you. And I'll raise 2 points about that. One, I was a pre-med guy. So naturally, that's the progression to a precious metals dealer. But I was a pre-med guy, and that being said, I took a fair amount of liberal arts courses. Never really got a major because they didn't even offer them. They had so much in the core courses where if you're liberal arts, you're taking a lot of science, and if you're in the math, science, engineering track, you're taking a lot of liberal arts because their goal is to generate Renaissance men and women. Not necessarily experts in any one field, but people that can handle virtually any situation thrown at them, okay? So, I went through that experience, and I'll take you 10 years past graduation. I'd gone back for my 10-year reunion, and I ran into a wife of a classmate just outside of Eisenhower Hall off the Hudson River, and I'm talking to her about, what her husband thinks of the experience. Was it worthwhile, the pain we went through and the whatever? And she said, it's funny. He really appreciates it. He thinks it prepared him well for life. And I said, I don't know if it's right, wrong, or indifferent, but I believe that if you dropped me naked and penniless anywhere in this world, I wouldn't just survive, but I would thrive. And she said, my husband says the same thing. And we could all be delusional, but it gives you that confidence that you can pretty much take on anything.
I don't think that's delusional at all, because most people that have like a supreme level of self-knowledge and confidence that goes along with having self-knowledge. They know they can do anything they want to, as long as it's within their realm of possibility. I mean, you and I were talking yesterday in a kind of an investor circle,
yep.
And there was a gentleman there that was saying that no one did well when under a Hoover administration. I mean, okay, that's.
But there were chickens in every pot back then, weren't there? I mean,
exactly. Well, that came later.
Oh, okay. It was a promise unfulfilled.
Yeah, exactly. So. No, but the point is, though, he was taking the circumstance and saying, well, the circumstance dictates your reality. And to a certain extent, of course, that's true. If we both grew up in Soviet Russia, we wouldn't be doing what we're doing now. We had the benefit of a free country.
We might still be sitting here.
That's true. we might be, actually.
Yeah.
But I think this guy was discounting the fact that no matter who the president is, no matter who the person is that is in charge of this or in charge of that, you're in charge of yourself.
Absolutely.
You can find a way to do something good that is beneficial to yourself, beneficial to society, beneficial to the whole zeitgeist of the world, if you have the determination, if you have the knowledge, if you just strap it on and say, I'm going to do this.
Absolutely.
Screw everyone else. No one's in my way.
Accountability, responsibility. And I was surprised that it came from a gentleman of his mature age. I might have expected that from somebody younger who basically had bought into the fact that, we're victims, we need a nanny to take care of us, or whatever the case might be. I wouldn't have expected from somebody who basically had been successful in life. I got the impression he was, but I thought you handled it really well. I think, saying that you can't do something in a certain environment, I think you mentioned you took it as a personal attack, and that's exactly, I don't think he intended it. That's what it was, and it's just not true. I'll determine whether I can be successful or fail.
I think I did,
and I do both.
Yes.
Well,
yeah, exactly.
So.
I think that. I mean, I didn't take it as a personal attack in so much as. Well, I mean, I did, but I took it as a personal attack on the individual.
Yes.
Because the individual is the sovereign determinant of most people's lives.
Agreed.
There's a lot of things that you cannot control. But you can damn control a few things. You can control your attitude. You can control how you view the world. You can control your effort.
Yep.
There's a lot of things. I mean, a lot of people would discount that. But you're a perfect example. And anybody who's been through the military fires, anybody who's been through difficult times, it's all about how you approach it.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to have all the answers, but how you approach it is what matters most. And even if you fail a lot, and we talk a lot about failure in this show, we love it.
You show me successes, and I promise you they failed. How do you learn otherwise, right?
Yeah, there's no learning without failure.
Absolutely.
And the thing I mean, this as a military guy, a combat vet, that
I wasn't combat vet.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
I wasn't
either.
I was always stationed somewhere else, not by choice. But during Gulf War, I was on DMZ. They weren't going to move us. We had a real mission already, but I was never in combat. And I'll just throw this out because you shared that with me. I always wondered when I got out of the military, how would I have done? They spent all this time, this money, and I put in all this effort to be an effective leader in that combat stressful situation, and I never got the chance to find out if I would have been able to do it well, right, whatever. And, so that part of me always wonders that, and 99% of the smarter part of my body says, thank God I never found out. So
that's what I say, too. People say, people ask me, well, were you in the Gulf or did you get deployed? And I said no. I'm thankfully.
Yeah.
I didn't really want to. I mean, when you're there, you wish you were, because that's what you're trained for. But it's also a thing do you really want to know? I think we both probably did want to know, but we didn't get that chance. And
that's okay.
But I'm good with that. Believe me, I am very good, because a lot of guys never came back.
Amen.
And I'm glad I'm here. I love life too much to not be here. So tell me about your career, what you're doing now. You mentioned the precious metals thing.
Yeah.
You went from from officer to gentleman in the precious metal
so
field.
anybody looking to be a precious metals dealer coming out of college, this is how you do it. You go into the military, you serve as an infantry officer for about 6.5 years. You get out with no exit plan whatsoever, but know you want to be in sales because if you work hard, you don't want to bang your head on a ceiling. You want to be able to make more money. You take a job selling satellite dishes in rural Georgia to start with. You do well there, and you move over to Kirby vacuum cleaners door to door. Can I say Kirby on the air?
Did you really do that?
Oh yeah, and it's
that's
great experience that I'm glad I'm not doing today, but it's fantastic learning environment. I learned my most important sales lesson there where, when I was selling the satellite dishes door to door, I would just drive down the road, I'd find the cable line would stop, and I'd say, okay, that guy doesn't have cable. His neighbor does, but he doesn't because it's not cost effective to run the wire. So I'd start knocking on doors and saying, hey, when was the last time you saw NASCAR or country music television or I Love Lucy? And it was an easy sell. I mean, I was the only game in town. I'd lay it out for them and they say, if you want it, call me. If not, good luck with 3 channels a year with snow on it with, an antenna with tinfoil.
That's a good alternative.
So, that was an easy sale and it was suited to my nature. And I didn't realize it at the time, but I left because a friend of mine who couldn't do that well was making tons of money selling Kirby's door to door. And I went up to Atlanta. I just picked up. I was single, and I started doing that. And I made ends meet, but I wasn't having the same kind of success because it was a high pressure sale. Right, you had to knock on the door with a 79-cent 2-liter bottle of Coke at the time from Walmart, and offer that for 5 minutes of their time. And if they invited you in, you pull dirt out of their rug. And basically tell them you have a need and I have the solution, and then 4 hours later you leave with a revolving contract. It's a great product. I bought one the moment I bought a house, but it's a tough sale. Right. It's not my nature. Right. So anyway, I did that for a little bit, and then I got a call from my uncle, who started our company in '82, Asset Strategies International, and he said, "Listen, my partner and I have grown this as far as we can. We need somebody we can trust because of what we work with. Would you be interested?" And I'm like, "God, yes, sign me up." And 23 years later, here I am.
Excellent.
So, that's how you do it.
Yeah, well, there's no circuitous route of that at all,
Just be open to options.
Exactly. Well, it's important for you to tell that story because a lot of people think that if you want to do something, you have to plan it out exactly. You have to do this, and this, and this. And life doesn't usually work that way. You can have the best laid plans and then, something unforeseen happens.
Plan's perfect until you cross the LDLC,
exactly,
right?
Exactly. That first shot, and then things, or that first punch, that kind of thing. Well, I think that adaptability is one of the things that we talk about on this show because you got to be malleable, you got to be adaptable, you got to be agile when you're talking about things and when you're doing things in life. But you also have to have the principles there. Mm-hmm. You can't just change how you think about your life. You can change about how you think about and what you're doing about, the actual details.
Yes.
But you got to have that bedrock philosophy in order to get through the tough times.
Absolutely.
The academy helped you develop that as well.
Yeah,
right?
but I had tough times when I left the academy too. It's what you do with it when it's presented to you. We failed. I've had friends that have failed. I've had clients that have failed us. We always deliver on our promises, but sometimes they change their mind because the market moved down and they don't want to move ahead. And here's what I always tell everybody: I'm never going to judge you because you tripped and fell. What I want to know is what are you going to do next? Right. And that's where I'm judging you. That's where I'm looking for the signs of character. Okay, and that's true for anybody.
Yeah, that's a big thing. I mean, we all get our asses kicked, but do you get up off the canvas?
Of course.
Or you just lay there and take it? Yeah. I'm not for laying there and taking it. Neither are you.
I don't see that in
That's
you.
why I think we're going to be good friends for a long time.
I think so.
All right, so how do I get in touch with you? What's your social sites? How do my listeners find out more about you?
I think all the big name social sites, we have a presence. The name of the company is Asset Strategies International. We're brokers of precious metals, gold, silver, platinum, palladium, foreign currencies, and rare U.S. coins. The way to reach us, toll free, 800-831 0007, 10 better than James Bond, and our website is www.assetstrategies.com.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, I recommend if you want to explore that field and own precious metals, which I recommend everyone does for at least 10% of a good diversified portfolio, then you want to talk to Rich. Thanks so much for being on the show.
Appreciate you having me. Thanks, Jim.